Hey everyone, Ryan here, and in this video, I'm going to tell you every LEGO Star Wars set that's going to be retiring by the end of 2024, so you can find out what you need to buy soon and what you can wait into 2025 and potentially beyond to buy. Now, this video is sponsored by Rakuten, so I'll tell you more about them and how they can save you money on some of these retiring and maybe not retiring LEGO Star Wars sets later in the video. Now, really quickly, of course, anything in this video is subject to change, but if it is supposed to retire by the end of the year, it is very likely that it will sell out before December 31st at midnight. So if you are looking to pick up any of the sets that are said to be retiring at the end of 2024, I would highly recommend getting those purchases done before the big Christmas rush around Black Friday. First up, we're going to talk about the 4 sets that I think are overdue to be retiring that are retiring at the end of 2024. We have the 75257 Millennium Falcon. This one will have been out over 5 years by the time it retires. It came out for the Rise of Skywalker's release. I do still remember getting that one early like it was yesterday, but it has been about 5 years now, and that set definitely is well overdue to retire, especially because it was specifically tied into a movie that just wasn't that good. Now, it is rumored in the summer of 2024 that we're getting a Dark Side Millennium Falcon, so that seemingly is going to replace this at that $170 price tag. But if for some reason you still haven't bought it, the time is now. Also overdue to retire is the 75304 Darth Vader helmet from April of 2021. I just never looked at this as that good of a set, and really the only reason it has stuck around is solely because it's Darth Vader, even though the mouth looks really weird. But again, just another one that if for some reason you've put off buying one of the most iconic characters in Star Wars history for 3 years, you still have a little bit more time. Also overdue, the 75308 R2D2, and that has been made even more obvious by them releasing a $100 R2D2 on March 1st of 2024, just about 3 years after the release of the $240 one here. And I think the $100 one basically makes the $240 one obsolete anyway. I wouldn't recommend buying it if you were thinking about it, but if it's the one you want, it will be retiring by the end of the year. Finally, I think the 75341 UCS Luke's Landspeeder is overdue to retire. I think this one should have retired at the end of 2023. You know, it's iconic, I suppose, but it's also the type of UCS set that I didn't think would have such a long shelf life. Like, 18 months would have been more than enough opportunity for anyone that's been waiting to get one. So it is retiring, and in all honesty, it's not too crazy that it will have been out for about 2.5 years by the time it retires. Also, a hint for this set in particular, I don't know if it'll go on sale later in the year, but I do commonly see it on eBay brand new in box for way cheaper than you'd expect. My next category is the sets that I think are gone too soon, starting with what I think might be close to my favorite, if not my favorite, LEGO Star Wars set of all time in the 75313 UCS AT-AT. I understand you can only have so many big sets on the shelf at a time, and the Jabba's Sail Barge is supposed to be coming out later this year, and it will essentially take the AT-AT spot in the more expensive price range, but man, did it feel like this one deserved to have a longer shelf life. I mean, I've been a LEGO Star Wars fan my whole life, and very consistently at that. I never really grew out of it, and so a UCS AT-AT had always been at the top of my list, and it's kind of sad to just see it go seemingly so fast compared to some other sets like the UCS Star Destroyer and, of course, the UCS Millennium Falcon. That, spoiler, isn't going to be retiring at the end of 2024. So it's kind of insane that this one seemingly is having a shorter shelf life. I still look at it as a set that I would love to own 5 of, and there's now a little bit more urgency to that idea. If I ever want to own 5 of them, much like it was in the original scene from The Empire Strikes Back, I'm going to need to get on that, and hopefully we'll be able to find a good sale, or maybe I'll have to make use of today's sponsor, Rakuten. If you haven't heard of Rakuten yet, it is the largest cashback site that partners with over 3,500 of the biggest name brands like Lego.com, Kohl's, Target, Walmart, the places you buy Lego. Personally, I've been using Rakuten for the past few years, and it's helped me take some of the great deals that I find on Lego sets and make them even better. The Republic Gunship retired at the end of 2023, and Lego had it on sale for $120 off, bringing the price down to $280. All I had to do was head over to Rakuten, pick Lego.com, it then activated my cash back, and then I shopped like normal on Lego.com. I ended up getting $7 more back on that $280, bringing my price down to $273. It's just a no-brainer. So if you're considering buying any of the retiring LEGO Star Wars sets in this video and want to save even more money, make sure you sign up for Rakuten using the link in the description below. Not only can you get your typical cash back, but if you're just signing up for the first time, you'll get $30 off your first purchase of $30 or more. It's an incredible deal and will help you save money for a long time to come. The next gone too soon set is the Commander Cody helmet. And I really only say it's gone too soon because, another spoiler here, the Captain Rex helmet won't be retiring at the end of 2024 according to this rumored list. And so I think it's weird to not have the pairing on the shelf. I think it's obvious that the reason that Rex is staying and Cody isn't, though, is because Rex is also in the UCS Venator, and Rex is a character that LEGO is putting a little bit more into, I suppose. And so I think that's maybe the reason they wanted to keep it around on shelves, to try to get more people that buy the Venator to buy the Rex, or vice versa. They buy the Rex and they're like, yeah, I do want the Venator. So I do see that as the reason that Rex stays around, but it is still going to be sad to see Commander Cody go so soon. Next up, we have the 75356 Executor Super Star Destroyer. I love this set. I'm a big midi scale guy. It's fantastic, and it's just one that I would love to see last on shelves longer. I mean, it's not an abnormally short lifespan for this set, but it is just one that I think deserved a longer time in the limelight, as it is really, truly one of the best sets of LEGO Star Wars this decade. It's fantastic, and if you don't own one, please do yourself the favor, buy it. I mean, some people just don't like midi scale, whatever, but like, if you do, you're missing out if you don't have it. The final Gone Too Soon set, and I think this one's going to get to a lot of people. The Ghost and Phantom 2 is supposed to be retiring by the end of 2024. I just think that is too soon, especially for what is kind of a flagship ship for LEGO Star Wars, with the Ghost, with the Ahsoka show, with potentially movies and more shows and seasons coming out. Just feels to me like the type of set you should keep around the next year. I mean, we saw the Millennium Falcon last 5 years, and I know the Ghost is no Millennium Falcon, but is 2.5 years too crazy for the Ghost? 1.5 years feels crazy short, especially after such a long hiatus without the Ghost going from 2014 to 2023. So I think it's just pretty crazy to see this one retiring so soon. It's also an Amazon exclusive, so it's a total toss-up as to whether or not we'll actually see this set get any reasonable discounts. I mean, Amazon does do their Prime Day thing, so maybe come November, December, you might get a better deal on this, but otherwise I would expect you're probably going to have to pay about full price for it. The next category is the Time Is Right, and these categories kind of follow a bell curve, with Gone Too Soon, Time Is Right in the middle, and Overdue on the right. And so the bulk of the sets retiring, of course, fit into the Time Is Right, starting with the Mos Eisley Cantina. And this one has actually been out the longest of the sets retiring in my Time Is Right category, with about a 4-year lifespan, but it's deserved. I mean, it's, again, one of the best LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. It's a set that was long awaited to see in the format that it now exists in. And so I think having it available for 4 years just made sense. I'm sure it has sold exceptionally well. I'm sure everyone is really enjoying it, but also there you get to a point like where a lot of people have bought it and don't really need to, keep it out any longer. So 4 years, I think, hits the spot with that Mos Eisley Cantina, and hopefully opens up the spot for a Master Builder Series set in 2025. Next up, we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. I am surprised this one actually is staying out as long as it is. I thought it would retire at the end of 2023, but I suppose with the Kenobi show and maybe hoping for some more momentum from that, LEGO Star Wars chose to keep it out for this year in 2024. But both of those sets I would highly recommend picking up if you don't own yet, and especially that Obi-Wan Starfighter for the Ton Wee Kaminoan minifigure. Next, we have the Tusken Raider Brickheads. Not a lot to say here. It's $10. Take it or leave it. We have the Boba Fett Starship Microfighter. Probably leave it. We have the 501st Clone Troopers Battle Pack, along with the 332nd Battle Pack retiring. So both of the clone battle packs that are $20 will be retiring by the end of 2024. Definitely nowhere sad to see those go, as I was the original 501st Battle Pack for a litany of reasons. Next, we have the Pirate Snub Fighter. This one almost feels like an overdue retirement, but it really only came out, at least as of the recording of this video, like 8 months ago, maybe less. Like, it's not that old, but it feels like Mandalorian Season 3 was so long ago at this point. So yeah, that one's retiring at the right time. We also have the TIE Bomber retiring. This one you could have made the argument for. I guess I could have made the argument for, or put it in the different category of being a too soon retirement, but it's also the type of set. It's $65. If you want it, go buy it. You've got that opportunity. I also commonly see it on sale for 20% off. So it's definitely one that you can go out there and get with relative ease. Like, if you want it and you've got the money sitting around, what are you waiting for? It's a fantastic model, and it was a great upgrade from that 2003 set. If you haven't watched my comparison, check that out. Next up, we have the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. This one, especially if you like the TIE Bomber or have the TIE Bomber, is a great pair with that, because it's TIE Fighter, rather TIE Interceptor and TIE Bomber. They're going to go together very nicely to modern TIE fighter type of sets that are much better than the $45 one that just retired. But this one I'm a little more iffy on recommending. If it was just a TIE Interceptor, I'd be all about it, but the Fang Fighter makes it a little more wishy-washy, I think, for a lot of people, because the Fang Fighter was not heavily featured at all in The Mandalorian Season 3. Most people didn't even notice it in the show. It's like barely there. And so, it's easy to look at that and be like, yeah, I don't want that half of the set. So, very understandable. And this is a set that I have not seen on sale a lot. I saw it at Costco for $60, but that's Costco. You got to have a membership and you got to have a Costco near you. There's some qualifiers there to take advantage of that. Next, I feel retiring at the right time is the Princess Leia Bouche helmet, although you could argue with the UCS Jabba's Sail Barge coming out that might have bumped a few more sales for it going into 2025, but regardless, that one should be out the door by the end of 2024. We also have both diorama sets from 2023 retiring, with the Endor Speeder Chase and the Emperor's Throne Room. Really sad to see the Emperor's Throne Room go. I think that is an amazing set. It gets a lot of flack for its price at $100, but if you're not proud of the price, maybe wait for a sale. Although it's, again, one of those sets I haven't really seen on sale. Hope to get lucky and find it on discount, and of course use the sponsor Rakuten to save as much money as possible. But that's just one that might be hard to find on sale. When it comes to the Endor Chase, that's another set that I really like. I don't love the figures in it outside of the Scout Trooper, which is like literal perfection. The Han and Leia are nothing to write home about, and in fact I think are pretty poor compared to what they should have been. But as far as like an actual display set and the way the speeders look going in between the trees, like in my review, I noted that it just looks amazing. It looks like they have, a real speed to them as they're flying through the trees. So it's two neat display pieces that are worth buying if you're into it. But it's, I think it's a particular type of person with sets like that. Now, released on the exact same day as the Ghost, which I said is retiring too soon, was the Coruscant Guard gunship. And I think it's retiring at the right time. You put out a niche type of Republic gunship, but, why keep it out for 3 years? It doesn't need to be out for 3 years. And the hope and prayer is that by retiring this, you can do another different variant of the gunship in 2025 or 2026, Not that they couldn't have two gunships on the shelf at the same time, I suppose. They're allowed to do whatever the heck they want when it comes to that. But generally people, look at it and they're like, well, when one thing retires, it kind of opens up room for another. So with this set going out the door, I'm very hopeful that it will open up room for something else. And for reference, the AT-AT was also $140, and that one was pretty commonly on sale for $112. So there's a chance this one drops down to $112 at some point in 2024 and you're able to get a very good deal on it. I would not pay more than that price for this set given the quality of the Fox figure. Like, I don't think it's fair to reward Lego for that. So just something to keep in mind there. But, obviously your purchasing decision at the end of the day. Next, we have the Tennu Jedi Temple. I don't think anyone cares that this one's retiring. We also have the Yoda Starfighter out the door. I think a lot more people would care about that if it included like an actual good third figure, but it doesn't. Obi-Wan Starfighter, shining example there. The Spider Tank from The Mandalorian Season 3 is also retiring. This is one that, unless you really want that Bo-Katan figure, I don't really see a point in getting. Like, the set just isn't that exciting. It's not that cool looking, and there's way cooler things you can buy for $50 now, like that Tantive 4 boarding hallway, like I think is a way better buy for about the same price. So yeah, this one's a big skip, I think, for a lot of people, unless you really want that Bo-Katan with arm printing. And she is a very nice minifigure, one of the top tier LEGO Star Wars figures of 2023, but also, in a $50 set, it's kind of easy to pass on. The other Mandalorian set retiring is the Microfighter N1 Starfighter. Kind of surprised to see it go, I guess, but it's out the door. We also have the New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hades Starfighter retiring. This one is an amazing set, definitely worth buying, I think. I know the two ships don't actually fight in Ahsoka at all, but I do think it is a fantastic combo of ships in one package with 5 amazing minifigures. So this one, if you were going to buy any Ahsoka set, I almost feel like it's a better buy than the Ghost, just because all of the figures are better, plus you get 2 amazing ships. So you can make the case either way, I suppose, but that one I think is totally worth picking up if you get the opportunity, and especially given it's retiring at the end of the year, relatively short shelf life would probably mean it might be a little more valuable than some other sets later down the line. The Oven 4 Rebel base is also said to be retiring, and this one was really cool to me, but I think for a lot of people it was just a flop of a concept. The set to a lot of people is just made to be for too young of an audience when it really didn't need to be. So for $170, it's definitely going to be a pass for a lot of people. And this is honestly one of the sets that might be a clearance buy. You might be able to find this one on clearance for like 50% off at Walmart's. That might be when you buy it. So just a heads up on that one. I don't know if it's going to go on sale necessarily, but it might be a clearance buy. Another potential end of year clearance buy has to be Chewbacca. At $200, a lot of people don't like this one. They think it looks creepy. And yeah, this one might be a clearance buy as well. Finally, we have the 3 mechs retiring at the end of the year. Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and the Stormtrooper. those would also be very good clearance buys. I think at $16, they cost way too much money. Those should not cost more than $10, $13 would be pushing it. $16 is insane, so I would not recommend going full price on those at all, but at a good sale on clearance might be worth picking up by the end of the year. Now for our notable survivors, sets that I think people are either worried about retiring or just realistically really could have retired this year, but seemingly aren't going to be retiring this year. First up, of course, we mentioned earlier, the UCS Millennium Falcon living on for another year. I don't think they need to retire the UCS Falcon, but I think it desperately needs a refresh. Kind of like an iPhone S cycle type of set. They basically need to go in, change the box art so that it matches what they are doing modern day. This set was released in 2017, fellas. And then they need to update the figures. Get those sequel figures out of there. Put in some Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi minifigures, like Episode 6 Lando, like all of those figs should be in there, and then put it back out. I'd buy another UCS Falcon, and even at that, you do a slight design refresh, just a little bit, some small changes to it, make it look a little bit different, and it's even better. So yeah, I would love to see the UCS Falcon get a refresh, but it is not retiring at the end of 2024 per the reports. Maybe the biggest surprise to me personally is the AT-AT. I thought it was retiring at the end of 2023 for some reason. Like I lived the last 4 months of my life going like, yeah, can't wait to not see those 212 helmets ever again. And no, it's still at my local Target, and it is still going to be sold through the end of this year and into 2025, apparently. Look, I don't think it's too insane on its face. It's a Revenge of the Sith set, and 2025 is the Revenge of the Sith anniversary. If anything, this is a small inkling of hope that 2025 will celebrate Revenge of the Sith in a very good way. I just, I wish that included making some of the figures in this AT-AT a little bit better, So, yeah, this AT-AT not going to be retiring at the end of 2024, apparently, which is crazy because I assumed it would be retired by the end of 2023, and it's living on even longer. It must be selling well despite some of its deficiencies, and it has been on sale for $112, so if you still don't have one, take advantage of that. Another notable survivor, of course, is Captain Rex's helmet that we talked about earlier. And then there's 3 Mandalorian sets that I am kind of surprised to see carrying into 2025. The UCS Razor Crest, I assumed, would get a shorter shelf life because the ship was destroyed and would have no further use in modern, Mandalorian media, season 3, season 4, next movie, whatever. And so I figured, UCS Razor Crest should have still been made, much like the Death Star was destroyed. Like, shouldn't just never make another Death Star. Obviously they're going to make things even when things blow up in universe. But the Razor Crest, given that it was made probably because they thought it would be really pertinent for a long time, and then it all of a sudden wasn't, I thought would just retire sooner. So, notable survivor for sure. And this is, mind you, also one that Lego had on sale last holiday season for $480, $120 off, I think. It was on sale. So kind of, maybe it was $420. Either way, it was relatively cheap. And so Lego doesn't usually put big UCS sets like that on sale, too often. So I just kind of assumed it would retire at the end of this year, but apparently it is not going to be retiring. So that's good. Definitely keep your eye out for another similar Lego sale this year, though. If they had already put it on sale last year, it's probably going on sale again. Mando's N1 Starfighter playset is also moving into 2025, apparently, which is no surprise. It's a really good playset, and that is the vehicle that Mando is going to be flying around for more future years or shows or seasons, whatever. And then the last Mandalorian set not retiring is going to be his helmet. That is just another sensible thing to keep around, as of course he's getting a movie at some point. So why would you retire the set that is literally the guy that's going to have his own movie? It just wouldn't make sense. Even though the helmet collection is not getting new sets, it looks like a couple of them will be lingering around for a little bit, which is nice. So let me know what you guys think about all of these retiring sets for 2024, and perhaps let me know how surprised you are at some of those sets that aren't retiring at the end of 2024. Of course, don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Rakuten. Use the link in the description below. You're going to want to have that tool at your disposal, whether you're buying Lego for yourself, Lego for a friend, Lego as an investment, or literally anything else. And who wouldn't want to save more money? So their link is in the description below. And here's the end screen. Check out my set reviews of Lego Star Wars sets if you want to know whether they're good or bad if you're going to buy them.